The City of Murfreesboro and Reagan Smith Associates have begun a planning study to enhance downtown to an area locally known as Historic Bottoms. The northern boundary of the study area is Old Fort Parkway, eastern boundary, Northwest Broad Street, the southern boundary, the Discovery Center, and the western boundary is the CSX Railroad Tracks. The study area includes Murfreesboro Civic Plaza and Cannonsburg as well. Principal planner for the city's Planning and Zoning Department is helping to organize this study.
At one point, this was a very active area. There were businesses, there were houses, there were residents. It was a neighborhood. It was a tight neighborhood. That's all gone now, largely due to urban renewal back in the 50s and 60s. With all of that activity gone, we're interested in figuring out what kind of activity could come back there.
The thought is to connect this area that is on the west side of Broad Street to the historic downtown area that is on the east side of Broad Street. With Broad Street being a very traveled 7-lane road, that is going to be a challenge.
The link between that area and downtown is crucial. So that's going to play a major part in the study itself. How can we revitalize an area, bring activity back to an area, bring people back to an area, and still have them able to participate in activities downtown, to get to work downtown? How do we get people from downtown to that area if that's going to be some kind of lively area, some kind of lively district, arts district, bar district, whatever you want to call it? How do you get people back and forth? And right now a 7-lane highway is a major hindrance to doing that.
As the saying goes, you can't know where you're going until you know where you've been. So that's why the city recently hosted a walking tour with 2 Murfreesboro historians to explain what this area used to be.
The tour was really interesting because we had 2 historians with us who were able to tell us a lot more, shed a lot more light on what that area once was. We know Cannonsburg is there, but that's only been there for the last 30 years or so.
Cannonsburg the city's done great by it in the last 5 years. The primary building is the old Haynes Cotton Warehouse building right there. That dates back into the 19th century. At one point in the 1970s, there was a museum about Murfreesboro's history installed in that. There are still parts of it. Again, I think the city should be congratulated for what they've accomplished here at Cannonsburg. Front Street Castle would have been a crucial corner for much of Murfreesboro's history. And you can see how this development cuts Castle. You can see Castle after the green space there going up the hill. And Castle really takes you into the heart of the African American community and where a lot of African American businesses were located.
Learning that this was a real area, a real neighborhood, people had real connections there. They were out on the edge of the city. The railroad track was the edge of the city. And so getting a better understanding of how that neighborhood functioned, where things were in relation to each other, I think that's going to be very helpful for us moving forward in the future.
The City of Murfreesboro is currently conducting a comprehensive planning study called Murfreesboro 2035. The city is partnering with residents, business owners, and community leaders to plan for the next 20 years of growth.
Yeah, so the 2035 plan, interestingly, pointed out this particular area as one that's worthy of additional and further study. This is that study. We hope to be able to plug this into the 2035 plan. We hope it'll be seamless and that both the 2035 plan and the small area studies can work together.
To oversee this study, a committee will be formed. Anthony explains.
My understanding is that right now the City Council is reviewing a list of proposed community members who would participate on a committee to lead this study. This committee would work closely with our consultant, Reagan Smith Associates, as well as city staff. We will also be conducting stakeholder interviews with selected stakeholders. That would be property owners and others with specific interests in this area. And eventually in a few months, we'll roll this out to the public and we'll have several public meetings. During each of those, the public will be invited to come and look at those ideas and give their feedback and share their own ideas for a vision for that area.